All right, so we're getting close to being done here. What we want to do now is we want to create transparency. So right now you still have this full image of the map, and the problem is that the white space and the coloring in the middle is going to obscure anything below it, because ideally what we're going to do is we're going to overlay this map onto an aerial image, and we don't want to obscure things below it because then we can't really check to see how well it matches. So over here on the left hand side, I'm going to click on the Transparency tab, and I'm going to tell MapCruncher which colors to essentially get rid of so they become transparent. And the way that works is that I position the left hand crosshairs on top of the color that I want to get rid of. So I want to get rid of that white color, so I'm going to position the crosshairs over the white area of the map, and then I'm going to click on the button over here on the left called Add Color under Crosshairs. And everything that turns pink is essentially going to be transparent in the resulting georeferenced map that's going to be produced. So this is good. So all the white has pretty much gone away. The green stuff also is going to obscure things, so I'm going to try to get rid of that. So I'm going to position the crosshairs over the green and hit Add Color under Crosshairs again. And good, we got rid of a lot of the color. So now again, the pink is good because that means that area will be transparent. So if we like what we see, we're ready to move forward. So to do that, we can hit the Render button over in the lower left. All right, and then it's going to create all this output in the process. So what we want to do is we want to specify where to put all this output. Well, we already created a folder on the desktop where we save the map, the image of the map, and we want to output to the same folder. So I'm going to hit this Pick button, this little ellipses on the button, and that will allow me to choose the folder where I want to save things. So the folder was on my desktop, so I'm just going to scroll down here till I find my folder, YSU map, choose the folder and hit OK, and the path to that folder will be displayed in the output folder box right there, so that's where I want. And then what I do now is just hit the Start button and it'll start rendering to my folder. And what it's doing is basically decomposing the map and trying to translate it according to the equation that we essentially created by laying down the correspondences. And it's going to create a new image of the Youngstown map, and this image will be georeferenced. It'll be tied to real locations on the Earth using latitude and longitude from the Bing Maps, and then that will be able to be overlaid onto the Bing Maps aerial imagery. And it's very similar to what you would do if you were trying to translate a scanned image of a map into something that could be overlaid onto a GIS or into some kind of a real space, something like even like Google Earth, for example. So we just need to wait for it to finish. Okay, so the rendering process is completed and we're ready to take a look at the results. So in the bottom of this window you'll see two options: View Results in Browser and Preview Rendered Results. View Results in Browser will work if you have Mozilla Firefox as your default internet browser. If you don't, Preview Rendered Results should work. So click on that one and it'll show you what your map looks like overlaid on top of a Bing map. So let me blow this up a little bit, and then I'm going to change the background by going up to the VE background up in the upper left and changing to hybrid, and that'll be essentially an aerial image with labeled roads and other items. So now if we zoom in, okay, we can see our map and we see the transparency that's been applied. We can look through it essentially, and we can look more closely to see how well it lines up with items on the ground. And I can see it's not too bad. I can see the streets line up pretty well. All right, just about where they should be. There's a little bit of play. It's a little off, so it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. I think I might go and do this again to get a little better fit, but it's not too bad. So that's it. When you've done that, you know that if you've done it and you like your results, then you're pretty much close to done. So we can close that, and we can close this window as well. And then before we close this out, we're going to save our work as a YUM file. So we'll go to the File menu and then choose Save Mashup As, and it'll by default create a file called with a YUM extension, right? And mine defaulted to ParkMap 2012, which is fine. Or maybe in this case it might be better to put your last name in there to make sure. But in any case, make sure you're saving it into the same location where you saved all the other stuff, including the image of the map and the other output. So we'll save it in there, and that's it. Now the nice thing is that YUM map can be reopened in MapCruncher, and you can continue to work on it or adjust it as you like. Now if you saved it correctly, and you go look into that folder, so I'm going to go into my desktop and go to that YSU map folder. You look inside there, and what you should see are a lot of files, at least 4 folders inside of that folder you've just created, along with a series of files right here. Now, you want to have all this stuff because you're going to need to submit this when you turn in your real assignment using the Salem State map so that other people can check your work. So when somebody else gets a hold of this work that you created, they can reopen the yum file in MapCruncher, or alternatively in Firefox Mozilla you can open the sample page HTML, and that will also show what your map looks like, and you can see again how well it matches, and that's what you'll be assessed on. So that's how it works, and if you have any questions, please post them online.